Here's how I customize my XH2s. So in this video, I want to show you how I customize my XH2s with the 7 dials and all the external buttons. So for custom setting number 1, this is my A roll. This is everything talking head, vlog, etc. All that kind of thing. I will shoot at 4K, 25 frames per second, FLOG 2, auto white balance, and aperture priority. This I've found is the fastest and easiest and quickest way of setting up my XH2s. Obviously, I like to manipulate it sometimes if I need more control, but for the best part, I like to keep it like this. Custom setting number 2 is my B-roll. This is set up exactly the same as my A-roll, except I shoot this at 50 frames per second. And I shoot this at 50 frames per second so I can slow it down in post if I need to. So I can have basically more play with the footage that I've grabbed. And I will use this custom setting when I'm trying to get detail, I am trying to get more emotion maybe in my storytelling.
Also, it's in DCI 4K, which is a 17:9 aspect ratio, and that's the same with C3.
So custom setting number 3 is basically just my slow-mo. Again, the same as my A-roll and my B-roll. They are all shot on aperture priority. This is at 100 frames per second. Again, this is my slow-mo camera setting, and I will use this when I really want to get, like my B-roll, just that little bit more emotion, slow down that footage, and have more to play with in the edit. It's something I don't use as much as custom 1 or 2, but it's very handy to have ready if I need it.
All of my video settings are in 10-bit 422, and I use 360 megabits per second on the video format, and they're all in H.265.
C4 is for photography, and I nicked this from Joe Allen. If you're interested to see someone who's far more experienced with this camera, go check out his channel. Joe Allen is a video and photographer who has been shooting on Fujifilm for a long time, and someone I admire a lot. So go check out his stuff and how he customizes his XH2s. But I keep this mainly for JPEGs. The one I'm playing with at the moment is Nostalgia Negative, and I kind of like to tweak that from time to time, but I love the effect that's coming out there. It's really warm and it makes me feel, you know, all nostalgic. So it's really handy to have C4 for photography. Custom setting number 5 is for manual photography. This is if I want to do long exposure, or if I really need pinpoint detail, I will use this setting, and I will shoot predominantly in RAW and JPEG. There's nothing better than having full control over your photography. Custom setting 4 is fine if you are out on the street doing some street photography, having fun with your camera. If you lose focus a little bit, it could be a cool effect. But with C5, this is definitely for more professional commercial work, and I wouldn't want to take, you know, too many chances getting it wrong. So C5 dedicated to a bit more serious photography for me. C6 is something, again, I nicked from Joe Allen. Honestly, go check out how he customizes his XH2s, but C6 is for social media. This is where I will shoot vertically with one of the FUJIFILM's film simulations, because they're very good anyway, and I won't be using FLOG. The reason I do this is because it's a quicker edit. I can take it from the camera to my phone, edit it up, and release it on social media within, you know, no time at all. If I have to edit the footage and color grade, it does slow down the process. So this is why this is really good, really handy, and I'm really thankful to Joe for highlighting this custom setting, because it's helped my workflow so much more. C7 is my last setting, and it is for 6.2K resolution. I don't use this one that often, but it's because I don't yet use a CF Express card. I will be using it soon, and that's probably when I will change my C7 to C1. So I keep this for 6.2 for the moment. It probably will change, and what I will use C7 for, like Joe Allen has suggested in his video, is keeping it at 1080p and using one of Fujifilm's film simulations and using it for a quick edit. Okay, so they are my 7 customizable settings. If you're interested why I love this camera so much, check out my other video here where I list 5 reasons why it's such a good camera, and they're more for usability rather than specs. Now, the way I customize my other external buttons are as followed. Again, the way people customize their buttons is for speed. So for the record button here, I have now swapped that to the fixed crop magnification. This is great if you're using something that you just need to punch in a little bit more, especially with my Sigma 18-35 that I like to use so much. It just helps me get that little bit further in when I need it. My ISO is now my FLOG View Assist, just if I wanna, not have that gray washed out look on the background of my camera and I wanna see what kind of colors are coming out. This is quite lovely to have, and so I've replaced that with the ISO button. We'll come back to ISO in a second. My white balance is just my white balance, and I usually keep this to auto, but I'm hoping to maybe change this to something else soon. This function button here is for my high-speed recording, and I will punch this when I need to get high-speed recording. If I'm in my A roll and I quickly want to snap over to 100 frames per second, I'll use this. Just if I haven't got time to get to C3, I can just click the button and I'm there. My AF on is now my AF lock. I use this when I definitely want to make sure I can keep focus on one particular thing. My AEL is still the same, I haven't changed that. The Q is still the same, I haven't changed that. The directional pad, this is where I've got my ISO into play. So I use the directional up and down to toggle my ISO. This is really good. I've seen a few people use this and it's a great little kind of get around with the loss of the other ISO on the XT4. My right directional button is for my microphone. Sometimes it peaks and I definitely need control of it just to bring it down. My left directional button is for my film simulations, and so I can toggle between them. My left function button here, I know they've all got numbers, but I can't remember at the moment, is for my zebra level. I like to keep it to the right and at 50% level. And the last button I've changed here is the other function button on the right, on the top right here, is the face detection. So when I am vlogging, I can turn it on and off when I need it to grab my face or my eye. So that's how I set up my X2HS. This is how I've done it for the last few months. It's worked perfectly fine. I had no problems. There are loads of people saying this and that about this camera, but I really am quite a fan of this camera. But otherwise, thank you for watching. I hope this video was of help in some way or another. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's make some waves, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.